episode of The Ugly Truth. Today, producer Deb is sitting in with me. We go over the current situation in our country and how we're educating ourselves and talking about it. Also, it's producer Deb's birthday, and we're discussing who is the better birthday planner. Well, we know it's me, but I need a chance to gloat. It's my show. I can do whatever I want. Also, we're ready to get out of here. Things are opening up. What are we doing? What is our first go-to place? We both share that with you, and some epic H-Uglee and Awkward Moments of the week. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
I fuck around at all not.
Paula?
You hear that, everyone? It's fine.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Ugly Truth.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 470.
Ugh.
That's correct. Producer Deb is sitting in. I'd like to say Paula decided to step back for a moment to let producer Deb sit in for his birthday.
Bullshit.
His birthday was yesterday.
Yesterday.
So welcome, producer
when
Deb.
We're recording yesterday.
Yes. So it was on Monday, the 1st. Welcome to the show, producer Deb.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of your few attempts at being public behind the mic.
Mm-hmm. I like behind the curtain.
Unless you
I didn't used to like
normally
behind the curtain.
suffering in silence, listening to us, frustrated.
Is that what producing the show is? Suffering in silence?
Well, I mean, based on your face when I've been in the room when you're editing our show, yes. Except for the gruff and the heavy sighs and the quick scribbles, which I don't understand, by the way.
Oh, when I'm taking notes?
Yes.
Oh, that's actually, first of all, I laugh far more than I heavy sigh. The show is funny to me.
Nobody wants to hear the funny.
I know.
They want to know that you're annoying.
And usually the gruff is like technical issues where I can't get you guys lined up because you had a disconnect or...
Oh, so you write it down furiously?
No, not at all. I do it live in time, but what I'm writing down is ideas for the title of the show. So because what I'll do is I'll go, okay, in this section they talk... Because you do the intro and that's great, but sometimes I'm trying to come up with a clever... 469 episodes,
yes.
We've thought of 3 things to do. It's almost like Friends where they do, it's the one about.
Yes,
whatever.
That's true.
And so, well, just whatever I think, whatever comes to mind,
yes.
you know?
Yes.
So I'll just write down notes on whatever comes to mind, and then I'll scratch out, this is better, that's better, whatever. And so inevitably...
So that's what I'm watching
by
you do.
By the end of the show, you can see that, this is how the 3, This
is the theme.
Right, exactly. I want things that entice people to listen, but aren't overly long or overly descriptive. So.
The show is about mythic themes.
So.
Twyla.
And it's hard to come up with different things after 470 episodes.
It's not hard. We make that easy for you.
Okay.
Not one show is the same.
Okay.
We even stopped doing the Mother's Day edition because we were bored. After like 4, we were done.
You haven't done a vagina episode in a minute either, but it comes up, but not as a
We
not
decided
as a theme.
that a whole show on vaginas is dumb. We're not doing it anymore. We'll do a segment.
Aw, you've grown up.
No, we're better when we don't conform ourselves.
I see.
That's what we've decided.
Yes, it is good for you to riff. I would like for you to riff for less than an hour.
So,
of an
interestingly,
hour and a half, but...
to completely change the subject.
Okay, of course.
Do you remember, this was probably a year ago. I don't look anymore, but I used to look at what the top ranking podcasts on Apple were on iTunes in comedy or anything that was even remotely resembling what we do. And there is a show through Barstool Sports called Call Me Daddy or something like that. And it's these 2 chicks who are, first of all, quality's terrible. So I'm just saying. And they
need a better producer.
Agreed. And they are hot, of course, because that's the whole point.
It's Barstool Sports.
Right.
That's what they do.
So they're just like, I don't want to demean them because they're probably bright and funny in general, but... They had a falling out. Oh. So someone, and I'm not sure who, offered them $500,000 a year to do the show. One of the girls got a boyfriend and backed out because she felt like unappreciated or something like that. And so she basically blew up the whole show. And there's no longer Call Me Daddy. And
it wasn't around that long.
I don't know. But all I know is that I couldn't understand why it was in the top 10 of all the podcasts and with Joe Rogan. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I have listened to this and it is bullshit.
That's Apple, and that doesn't. The only ranker on podcasts that means anything is PodTrack.
Okay. Anyway, my point is the remaining girl did a 13-minute YouTube explanation of the drama on her perspective.
She mansplained it.
Whatever. And she's just like, guys. And so it's like, all right, fine. Her producer edited it. It was edited. And that's what was hilarious. Funny. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we know what's going on there. The producer likes her over this girl. I don't know. I'm making it all up. I have listened to a total of 5 minutes of the show. I was totally jealous because I listened to it and the quality is shit. And they're in the top 10 because they're hot and 20. I was annoyed beyond.
There's a bunch out there like that. They just find the right people, I think.
Maybe.
There's not as many. I think I came across one and I cannot even remember the name of it, who were sisters the other day, but everything is so short-lived. Nobody's OG like you guys. I think for us, I think the challenge is always the same, right? Which is we don't have a Barstool Sports. We don't have big, comedians that we're interviewing. We don't have, things like that.
We could probably do it too. So we just don't.
When I tell people how many episodes we have and how long, kind of how long we've been doing it and who we are, which is, again, no celebrity, no nothing. And then I tell them the downloads that we get. Yeah. They're actually pretty impressed.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, it's not a huge number. Well, we've always talked about that. But I will tell you, I learned something the other day, speaking of numbers.
Yes.
Is that there's two ways to look at numbers. There's what effectively is listens, or not downloads per se, but
click
listens.
And listen.
Listen,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm listening. I've activated the show and I'm listening to it. And then there's the IAB version, Internet Advertising Bureau version, which is you have to listen for a certain amount of time.
Right.
You can't just click listen.
Right.
And our two numbers are really close.
Oh, that's good.
Which tells me that most people that are listening aren't just checking. Yes. They're and actually, if you look episode after, the numbers are really consistent. So
I agree.
We've got a really good low following. Tell your friends, though.
Yeah, share the show, tell your friends, and God forbid. Although I keep hearing that things are going to be completely renovated now that Joe Rogan's at Stitcher. Like, everything's going to be...
Spotify, you mean?
Okay, Spotify. Everything's going to be blown up, and Apple's going to be non-important, and it's going to be this whole thing, and whatever. I don't even care about any of that shit, because none of that stuff...
By the way, neither does Joe Rogan.
I know he doesn't, but the podcasting advertising community absolutely does. And the properties that have these super famous comedians and reality stars and whatever, they're going to watch and see what happens after that all goes down in December. Anyway, the reason that I brought it up was of course I laughed in haughty derision at
show.
These two girls that couldn't make it work, because isn't that so stereotypical that two women who have known each other and were friends for a super long time ultimately grow to hate each other? Because isn't that what women do? We hate each other, which is not a lie. Totally. It's not that big of a lie. I mean, ultimately, you will talk shit about your best friend eventually. I mean, you will. But I thought, isn't that hilarious? Because when Paula and I have a falling out, we have no choice but to make it right.
Right.
Because we're related and our kids love each other. So it's like we have no choice but to work it out.
Yep.
Because we live together, how many knockdown dragouts I have had with Paula in the last 10 years over this show, over her and I, completely on the opposite ends of what this show has to be, or what our parts are going to be, or like how we're going to, navigate things.
I don't see why that's natural, though. I mean, you're passionate about something.
But you would never know it.
No, of course. I mean, that doesn't come through. In fact,
you will never find a 13-minute YouTube video edited by producer Dub with me going, you guys, I'm telling you right now, Paula is insane, and she's chosen a guy over our show. It's not happening. That's not happening. Ever.
You heard it here first, people.
First of all, she would never choose a guy over me. We've established that many years ago.
Sisters before misters.
That's correct, including you, my love. But you are worshipped in my family, so
they all somewhat like me.
They don't live with you.
I know.
But it is true. You are a good egg. So anyway, okay. So briefly, obviously the last week has been harrowing. It has been a disaster in every city, justifiably so. Everyone's very upset. And I was trying to explain it without sounding like I wasn't empathetic to the Black community, because obviously you and I, we have more than enough experience in what goes on in the Black community from our own personal lives,
and family
which
life.
we don't talk about because it really doesn't matter.
Sure.
Everyone should be concerned about minorities struggling. And so I have not said much, but I mean, obviously I'm outraged. He was murdered. And you know what's interesting? No one wants to admit it. Everyone agrees. Everyone, whether you are a Trump supporter or a hardcore liberal.
You can't disagree.
Everyone agrees the man was murdered by this guy, and he should be in jail. And that's the bottom line. It doesn't matter what he did for a living.
Yeah, I would say that he should be in jail for a very long time, and all three of the other officers should also be in jail.
I agree.
In my opinion. They were on top of him, too, just not on his neck.
Yes.
So.
And what's interesting is I think that our family was really distraught because we weren't sure how police officers felt about it. Because when you're relying on partners, you will back them up because it's your life, right? However, your father, who is a retired PD in one of the most violent towns in the country for many years, also believes that guy needs to be in prison along with those other three officers.
Yeah, I think it's natural to assume that being a police officer, male or female, is essentially a brotherhood. And you know what? You would be right.
Yeah.
That is true.
It has to be.
But not at that level.
No.
There are very good cops, but this was not one of them.
No.
This guy and that department as a whole has issues, right?
Clearly.
As we're clearly finding out. But, you know, I know, having grown up around police officers my whole life in a very personal way, not...
You practically grew up in a police department.
I used to, when my dad was a motorcycle cop, I would go down on weekends and clean the bikes as a little kid. And I definitely remember being in the police station all the time.
Did they appreciate you cleaning their bikes?
Yes, except for the one time that I played a joke on my dad.
What did you do?
I armor-alled the seat.
And you don't armor all seats of cop
No, you'll
bikes?
Slide all over the place.
And did he?
Yes.
How do you get... So, that's nice.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of leather and I think at the time it was a Kawasaki, but he eventually went to Harley too. But yeah, for some reason I just happened to...
You thought it would be hilarious?
I guess. It was probably... Shit, I couldn't have been 12 or 13 maybe.
Wow, so you were in your rebellious
decades
age.
ago. Decades.
You were your middle school troll age.
Yeah, where trolls meant something different.
What's hilarious?
Trolls meant pencil toppers with hair on them.
Right. What's funny is that he still mentions that story to this day.
He does.
And so do his friends who worked with him at that time. All of his motorcycle cop friends goes, hey, remember when your son armored your seat?
Yes, they
And you almost died?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, the other story I had when I was a kid, did you know that he fake arrested me? Did I tell you that?
At school?
Yeah. We did an April. I was working at the school newspaper, and we did an April Fool's edition. And because my dad was a cop, and because everybody knew my dad was a cop,
Narc!
The stoners thought that I was a narc, which is, I politely explained to them, I go, you're an idiot. That would be too obvious.
Yeah. One of you all are probably the narc, but that's okay.
But that's what brought up the topic in the journalism class was that this would be funny if, of all people, Daryl would get arrested. And so we took pictures, front page of the paper. It was hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, so anyway, it was, the narc gets arrested, but...
Your father was an amazing law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to listen to him talk about his life
30,
as a cop.
30 plus years as a cop,
Yes.
8 years in the Navy. So, he's seen in Vietnam, a couple tours, he's seen it all.
He's seen it all. And, the thing about guys like that is you think they're going to be one way, but when you have dialogue, and it's not offensive, you learn a lot about their perspective. And he learns a lot about my perspective.
And,
I mean, we don't agree on everything, but we really respect each other's opinions. And it's a really lovely way to talk about things that are hard to talk about.
There was not ever any doubt. It was just this kind of weight off shoulders because you almost don't want to broach the subject because, maybe there's a little bit where you don't want to know the answer, but not with him. With him, I knew that was going to be the answer. It was just good to hear.
It was interesting. Every single one of our children asked me what they thought their grandpa thought.
Yeah.
Every single one. Because they're like, we know someone very intimately who we love more than anything in the world. What does he think?
Yeah.
And the fact that he did not disappoint us.
Yeah. It was great.
I mean, I'm just being honest,
But it's not surprising that he didn't.
Of
but I think us sharing it with the kids. Listen, I was talking to one of our daughters this morning. This is a revolution for her. In her mind, this is like, they want this to stop now.
Forever.
Right?
Yes.
And I want to be clear too. So I grew up in a mostly Hispanic Black community.
Yes, you did.
my stepdad is black. Right. I have brothers and sisters who are black.
We are the epitome of a Benetton ad.
Yeah,
we literally are. We have everybody is represented and all love the same.
And gladly so, by the way.
Oh, God, yes.
But what I will tell you and is, again, not to keep it from going too serious, is just that it has to change. Throwing bricks through a Target window is not the way to get it done.
Right.
But I get it. All this happening, in my opinion, has very much to do with the fact that we've been pent up for 2 months.
Absolutely.
That people have lost their jobs.
Yes.
Like it's exploding
it's social unrest.
more than it might have 7 or 8 months ago.
Maybe.
Right. Like, I'm not saying it wouldn't have.
No, there would have been protests.
There would have been
absolutely.
protests, but I think this match got lit and was going.
I agree. And I was going to mention that as well. So. For me right now, I'm all about educating myself. And I do have my opinions, but I'm not a big fan of throwing them on the fire of social media because I don't think it really helps anything. And you can put something with the best of intentions on social media and people will they will read it the worst possible way. They will make the assumption that you meant the worst possible thing, even if it was said in the best possible of intentions.
Well, because most people if you've got 500 friends on any given social media channel, less than 20% actually know you. And I mean, know you.
Right.
Like even the people I work with, who I adore, a lot of the people that I work with, they don't know my personal feelings on things. We don't discuss those sorts of things, right?
Right, your workmates.
Right, exactly. And all my school friends and most of my casual friends. It's like my family and even not all of them actually get it, right?
Right,
like in terms, and nor should they. And that applies to everybody. It's not just me.
Right.
So I feel like I want to do something.
Yeah, I never had felt more motivated to walk and protest in my life, actually, than this last incident. But I also had to take into account some things. One, we have been pent up for 3 months.
Yeah.
And we are all on edge already. Money is an issue. There's a lot of other things that are fueling this emotional feeling that I'm having. And I'm not speaking for anybody else, but it is true that I definitely felt compelled more than anything to go out there. It is time for me to educate myself and to do a lot of listening and just to hear what truly needs to happen. I don't know. It's not social media. I can tell you that.
Well, it doesn't.
So I need to know what I need to do to effectively cause real systemic change. And if I can't, all I can do is support those that do.
Whether they realize it or not, the people that are out there protesting are doing it because it has worked in the past.
Agreed.
And I think that, from Martin Luther King assassination, the Civil Rights Act came a week later, that sort of thing.
Right.
But I think that in absence of knowing the solution, you make noise. And you make noise everywhere. And I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So speaking of rough times, we both had to celebrate birthdays.
Yes, we did.
During this madness. Well, mine was literally during the riots, but yours was COVID.
Last month, we had the pandemic, and you did a very romantic gesture, and you were able to secure the cafe to have a private dining experience. All French food. It was delicious.
Right.
We had an amazing time. We drank way too much wine, but it was super fun, and I loved it. And your birthday was yesterday, but I was able to plan a nice dinner out to one of our most favorite restaurants in Yountville, California, because things are slowly starting to open.
No fair.
And so we have a reservation on Friday. We're staying the night in Napa, which we have not done. And I think it's been almost a year.
No, it hasn't been that long.
December. No, we didn't spend the night in December. I don't know. It's been months and months and months.
Long time. Feels like longer than
long.
It has been.
Yes. And so, once again, I am the better birthday planner.
I know.
You suck.
I do. And then I made it worse with that horrible card.
You got me the worst, ugliest card I've ever seen in my life.
And your punishment to me for that?
You will pay forever.
No.
Yes.
That's not it. No.
What is it?
I didn't get a card.
Well, no, you didn't. You didn't get one.
Yeah, that's all right. 51's boring.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But that card has been thrown away, by the way.
I know. I saw.
Good.
I do the trash. It's my job.
Great. Glad. Good. Great. But yeah, you will forever pay. It's like I expected a little sensitivity, a little, maybe some jewelry, flowers, anything. Nothing. I got nothing. I got the card. and a book. That was nice, though. Thank you. I appreciate those things.
Whatever.
What? I do. But I'm so much better. I mean, for your 50th, we went to Star Wars lands. We went to Hawaii.
We are in a pandemic lockdown.
Excuses, boy.
We would be, talking about our amazing trip to France right now.
Sure. Okay. But I'm better than you.
I know.
That's all that really...
You've made that clear.
You agree, though, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, aside from all joking aside on the execution of birthdays and things like that, when it comes to gift giving specifically,
yes.
You're way more thoughtful than I am.
Thanks.
Although I will tell you that that's good because that drives me, because I'm constantly trying to be more thoughtful, and sometimes maybe I just need
do better.
I just have to do better.
No, you are. Look, it is okay. You can't be perfect in everything.
I'm
That's
not
ridiculous.
perfect in anything.
That would be crazy, though. So, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Did you hear that, everyone? It's fine.
It's fine. So on that note, I think we're all hitting we got to get out of here. Oh, I got to get out. I just got to get out. You just want to get out.
So bad. That's why I'm looking forward to this. In fact, I almost tried to make you, it's not my birthday, we're just going out. She's like, no.
Oh, no, it's your birthday.
It's your birthday.
The restaurant is aware of this?
They are not.
Oh, yes, they are.
Why?
Because I'm going to make sure I'm so much better than you.
Oh, my God.
If Chef Chiarello comes over, I just want you to know you're welcome.
Oh, shut up. He's not coming over.
You don't know my life. There have been, I mentioned it a couple of shows ago, that my biggest fantasy of getting out of town and doing something is stay at the Ritz at the Half Moon Bay. I keep fantasizing about it. It's crazy. I don't know why, but I have. But the other things that I'm truly, truly missing, and I cannot wait to do, TJ Maxx is opening up soon.
Oh, God.
I can't wait.
Why?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
No, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to go in there and look at all of their crazy art and all their trinkets and their discounted clothes that are ill-fitting because they didn't get sewn right. I can't wait. I'm going to look at all of it. All of it. And it's going to be packed and I'm not going to care.
Your first action when things is to go shopping.
Hell yes.
Probably not at a mall, though.
TJ Maxx, man.
Yeah.
That's the place. The place. I mean, I realize...
she just got hood rat on y'all.
I realize that Ross and Marshalls and TJ Maxx are all affiliated, but TJ Maxx has the best shit. I don't know why. They just do. Although Marshalls has better shoes. I will admit. They have better shoes, but TJ Maxx is where you can get...
So I can get you a gift of shoes from
You can't
Marshalls.
get me... Absolutely not. In fact... because I don't like Marshalls around here anyway.
Yeah.
I go to the Nordy Rack.
Yes.
They have okay. It's okay. But TJ Maxx is way
fine.
better.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's like a Daryl birthday there.
Oh,
but TJ Maxx is a Jamie birthday. It is celebratory. It's amazing.
Oh my God.
I'm going to walk in and I'm going to be like, all those regulars that I hadn't seen in for months and months. I'll be like, how have you been, Alexa? How have you been, Miranda? I have missed you, John. I can't wait. Like, where's the undercover cop that's always lurking about in the boys section? Where's he? I can't wait. I'm so excited. And now you are going fishing.
Oh my God. That is my shopping right there. I mean, it's insane because they actually canceled fishing in the area. Like that you couldn't, well, because where we go, it's small towns that have this, they actually call it Fishmas. It is the opener of the rivers to go trout fishing in California. And these certain counties get this flood of people because there's so many miles and miles of rivers. So, but the problem is they probably got 4 fucking hospital beds.
Yeah, they really can't afford
they cannot afford either somebody to come in and get sick or even worse, somebody to come in, make everybody sick, and now they're overwhelmed. And so they just shut it down, and now slowly they're opening up. They opened up a couple of weeks ago, so we are going to get up there. But what's great is, and this was the killer, is last year we went to Fishmas and we couldn't fish. so much snow had melted that it was like the Colorado coming, the Snake River. It was just
it was just really
white water.
rapid.
Like you couldn't fish it. It was too fast.
Got it.
And this year it was 72. The flow was perfect. And we're all going, fuck. Like we couldn't go. And so now, the good news is all the fish are still there. We can go get them. So
well, what's funny is
fun.
I know that you're obsessed with this fishing trip that's coming up because your brother may or may not be able to attend, and you're like, I'm going. I don't care who's going. I'm going.
I obviously want him to go, but as long as I'm not
course.
alone, I'm going. Like I
you
I
won't
have
be alone.
to go.
Yeah, you asked me. You're so.
That's how desperate I am.
You're so
I asked
desperate.
you to go up on a day trip
The other day.
fishing. And that's not off the table, by the way.
You're all, well, would you go fishing with me? And I'm like, what? Why would you want me
It's
to go?
not camping.
It's day camping.
Well, but your thing with camping is you don't want to stay overnight and you don't want to be in a tent. I'm saying let's go up. We'll give you a chair and some champagne and an ice chest right next to the river, and I'll just fish right in that spot, and we'll be good.
There's a lot of creatures out there.
I will elevate you.
What if I have to pee?
We will be close to a restroom. I will not take you more than a few miles away from a small town.
You want to take me to some dirty bar, too. You said, you got to see this bar.
Oh, that shit got closed. The Cutthroat.
No, the gambling bar. The bar with the slush.
Genoa. Oh, that place is awesome.
No, it's not.
It is.
It isn't.
That's where it's got
Sophia.
It's got Sophia Loren's bra.
Oh, that's hygienic.
On the ceiling.
How clean.
I didn't tell you that story?
Yes,
I've
you
told
did.
You that story.
You did. But
Look it up. Genoa. And it gives you the history.
All I see is
the best whiskey bar
dirty,
ever.
Dusty people in there drinking
swinging doors.
way too much, filthy floor.
It's the best.
No, I don't. I mean, look, I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it. I don't want to do it, but I would if I was required to attend.
Well, if I have to be off next week, it wouldn't be horrible if you and I got away for half a day.
Then you get to go to TJ Maxx with me when they reopen. Okay, let's just do that. All right?
Fine. It's fine.
Whatever. I don't want you to go with me. That's the thing. That's why I can't believe you want me to go with you. I'm like, I can't wait to get away from you.
If I'm being honest, I know that you want, we've been together so much that you could probably not wait for me to just go away. But I don't want to go somewhere where, in that way, I'm a bit of a pussy. I do not want to go somewhere where there's no cell service signal, animals, wildlife, right? Like snakes, bears, shit like that. By myself. It's no bueno.
So let's bring Jamie along.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
You can call for help.
I will leave you in the dust.
You will not.
You will be on your own.
You will wrestle a bear.
First
I know
of all,
you.
You have seen me at the airport. I fuck around at all not. I am out. I have left children behind. I'm like, y'all on your own. I'm going through this, and I will meet you at the gate. If you fuck around or dilly-dally, I will see you at the gate. We are at gate 18, everyone. Gate 18. And I go through there, and I am gone. And you know it.
I know.
I don't wait. I'm like, I will survive this. I will be one of the final survivors of any apocalypse that we have on this planet that is not God-induced. I will be a survivor. Don't you worry about me. Worry about yourself. If a bear shows up, you are absolutely on your own. No doubt. I will not be helping. I'll be like, well, it was a good run, wasn't it?
Yes.
I love the truck. Thank you.
It's fine.
So that's happening. Looking forward to that fishing day.
Do it.
That should be great.
Okay.
All right. Well, believe it or not, it's already time for our H-Ugly and Awkward Moments of the week.
Good. I don't have to have one, right?
No, H-Ugly.
Ugly, yes. Excellent. Thank you.
You are a hug.
Yes, I know, but I
Here's what I'm hoping.
I didn't think of one, so.
I have 3 stories.
Okay.
And this is the working in the office edition, because although people initially loved the idea of working at home,
okay,
I think there's a lot of people out there who are hungry to get back to the workplace.
One of my markets went back this week.
That's great. And they're probably super excited about it because
Melbourne, Florida, just saying.
Isn't it exciting to go back to work, bitch about the coffee not being remade, someone fucked up the bathroom that we all have to use, papers out, whatever. I mean, that kind of stuff, you miss it after a while.
For sure.
So in honor of that, we're going to talk about working in the office edition of H-Uglee and Awkward Moments.
Got it.
So I have 3, and I'm hoping that this will jog your memory in telling me if you have or have witnessed any awkward moments in your history.
Sure.
As we know, I've had several of my own.
Yes.
But I would like to know if you remember it. Here's the first one. This is something that would happen to me. Muriel, my necklace got caught on the company president's belt buckle when I bent over to pick up a dropped pen on stage at a national meeting.
Wow.
That's awkward. Can you imagine?
No.
It would happen to me. Because you know how you wear those really long, really cool, long necklaces with sweaters or whatever?
That's like something you write in a comedy bit. That's
so you bend over to pick up the pen, and then clink, and then you're like, oh, you're stuck on stage.
Can you imagine? And you're going back and forth and back and forth.
And he's
to
just
unhook
like,
it.
hey, what kind of meeting is this? Because you probably got turned piggy immediately.
Of course.
But anyway, I thought that was really funny.
That's a good one.
Okay, this is Jared.
Hi, Jared.
I was in a very long meeting after breakfast one day. After some scones and coffee, I was ready to hit the bathroom. After the meeting, I quickly ran back to my desk to check some emails before doing so. As I sat down, I caught some quick gastrointestinal relief with a long, gassy, silent fart. Little did I know, a female colleague had followed me back from the meeting to discuss a few more things offline.
Uh-oh.
The stench floating in the vicinity of my desk was nothing short of horrid. The look on her face when she actually caught a whiff of this thing was one of pure shock and horror, almost like she had just been struck physically. She tried to talk for a few seconds without breathing, but we both knew what the situation was. She quickly ended the discussion and went back to her desk. Even though we were mid-project together, we didn't really speak much after that.
Oh, wow.
Actually, a few months later, she left the company and never said goodbye.
Oh, wow. It must have been a bad one.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Doesn't that happen? Has that ever happened to you or anyone? Or have you have you ever been carpet bombed by anybody?
I don't recall being carpet bombed. I do remember when I had an office, like not at home, obviously, but an office. And then you would go in and you'd like double take to go, okay, if I do this now. Because I had people coming in and out of my office unannounced.
Did anyone ever
I don't remember any specific
They didn't act like they had been physically struck by your odor?
Correct.
Well, that's good news.
Correct. Except for me. I was physically struck on occasion by my odor. But
well, I have too, but that's a different story.
Yes, I know.
Well,
girls don't, so.
No, we don't. Never. And if you ever say we did, we'll divorce you. So.
It's fine.
Okay, so speaking of farts, because apparently farting is a big deal in offices. A lot of awkward moments happen with the farting.
I imagine.
John, my boss faked a punch to my side as he was walking by me. I braced for the punch and out squeaked an exertion fart. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, I've done it.
You exerted a fart?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
At work?
No.
Where?
At football practice.
Oh, when you were a child?
I was 14 or 15.
Oh.
But it was, I think I may have told this story, but it's been a long time. So no, we were doing this drill where everybody was in a circle, and then one guy got in the middle of the circle, and the other guy had to run and kind of hit him in the chest with the shoulder pad and almost lift him up a little bit. It was almost like a tackling dummy thing, but live. If you've seen those kind of things, like those sleds that guys hit and they go like this, right? But this happened to be one. We were coming in, and I had to circle around and hit him, and then kind of like lift him up a little bit. And right when I did it, it was, imagine how loud it's got to be heard by everyone. Like all 40 guys heard it.
Oh my God! Did they die?
Oh, everybody was on the floor.
Were you embarrassed?
Oh, of course. I was totally embarrassed.
You should have owned that.
And on top of it, I was the quarterback, so it was like I'm not even supposed to be doing drills like that, but it was really funny. Well, not at the time, it wasn't funny. But
really, I would think that guys would be like, yeah, that's right, or whatever. You didn't do that?
Yeah, I don't remember them doing that. I wish I could have been that kind of guy, but I was not. I was embarrassed. Like, I didn't cry or anything like that. I wasn't like embarrassed. I was I thought it was funny.
First of all, if you did cry, I don't want to know.
I know, no, of course not.
God.
How about you? Do you have an exertion fart story?
No. Why would I? Absolutely not. Never. I mean, the only office, there's been several, but one time I was pregnant and I tripped and I was trying not to fall in front of the president of the division at the time. I don't even know. It was the end of the day I was probably 6 or 7 months pregnant. And I'm already awkward, and I already fall all the time. It's not like being pregnant makes it any easier, right?
By all means, let's add pregnancy to that mix.
I will never forget this. And so I walked out of we were all leaving to go home. It was the VP of sales and then the president. And then I was the president's personal assistant. And so we were all walking out to leave. Executive assistant. And so we were all walking out to leave. And I got stuck on one of the cracks in the sidewalk, like the walkway.
Sure.
And so I tried to catch myself like an idiot. And all I remember seeing is I was doing this sidestep shuffle, trying not to fall over. So I'm like, the trip, like 5 or 6 feet. And I look up and all I see are the 2 older men watching me like with their mouth open.
They're like,
yeah. Nobody tried to catch me.
Were they close enough to do that?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was just a thing. So finally I fell. And of course, I'm pregnant. It's not exactly hilarious.
So they freaked out.
Well, they didn't freak out, but the president was like
very concerned,
giggling, and he's like, "Are you all right?" And he came over and they both held me up, and I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm really clumsy." They're like, "Listen, it was funny, but you're pregnant, so you might want to just call your doctor to make sure all is well." And I was like, all right, thank you.
God.
I was mortified. I almost quit.
You didn't own it?
I just said I was okay. And I said, "Oh no, I fall all the time. It's fine." They're like, "It isn't fine, actually. You need to take care of yourself there."
Jeez.
And maybe not wear heels anymore.
Yeah, maybe not.
So I didn't. But yeah, that. And then the only other thing, which I have discussed on the show many times, was when we were in a big department head meeting and I was taking notes and I was foolishly eating ice chips. And I put an ice chip in my mouth and I was being cool, thinking it was, hey, no one's paying attention to me and I'm just chilling and, I'm so cool being in the department head meeting. And I was playing with a piece of ice in my mouth and I spit it out
on the table,
on accident, and it spit across the table.
That was a big ass conference table, too.
It was a big ass conference table, and I went, "Oh shit!" And I was just like that. And the president again turned to me and he started to laugh. He totally started. He's like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm sure he enjoyed all of my shenanigans.
I'm sure
it was entertaining for him to go, "Well, she's really good at her job, though, you guys, and she's all right." That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's funny.
You didn't do any. You have no awkward moments. Of course you don't.
No, I'm sure I do. I just we were talking about the farting ones, and I don't have any farting at work ones that I'm aware of. I have definitely farted at work.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know that I've certainly not audibly been caught.
Hey,
that moment
did you ever go to work with 2 different shoes on? I think you did.
Yeah, I did.
There's your
because you know
moment.
why? Yeah, you know why? Because I bought the same exact shoe in brown and black, and so it was literally the same shoe. And I was commuting to San Francisco, so it's not like I could change, right?
That is right.
I did.
We found it. We found the awkward moment. And did anybody notice? A woman did. Some woman did.
I'm sure. I don't.
Someone goes, "Hey, what's going on there? You got dressed in the dark, did you?"
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right.
Which was true because I was 4 a.m. getting out of here. So anyway.
Sorry.
You're picturing yourself falling, aren't you?
No, I'm just picturing why anyone would give a shit about your sacrifice of getting up at 4 a.m., but that's just me.
Screw you. I was just making a point that I got dressed in the dark.
All right. I was awake with you, fool.
Bullshit.
How dare you?
Bullshit.
How dare you?
You got a little kiss before I left, and I kissed you, and that was the only time you woke up when I was commuting back then.
I absolutely stayed awake many times.
After.
Many times.
Why wasn't one of those times when I wore 2 fucking different shoes?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that Mommy needed to check you over before you left the house.
I dressed better because of you, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I dressed horribly before we met.
You really did. I don't know why. But you know what? I was listening to something.
That's the first gift you bought me.
I know.
It was a tie.
I remember, I don't know what I was listening to, and they said, first of all, I can watch any show, news story, or I can be out in public, and I can be I love to people watch. And I can tell you exactly who's married and who's single
based
on how they're
dressed.
dressed. Yeah, men specifically. It's like, oh God, no wife in the world would let him go out without a belt like that. No way. No way. Nope. And then unless of course you go to the guys that are going through some kind of crisis and they're wearing those ridiculous boots or jeans that they thought were really cool when they were clubbing in the 80s. if they've got those on again and they clearly aren't young, their wife has lost control and she no longer cares what he does.
That's funny.
She's like, go ahead, wear those. You look like an idiot. No, I don't. That's happening a lot, I'm sure.
For sure.
But other than that.
All
right. Well, I don't really have anything else to add. This was an impromptu. Paula, we hope you find your cat.
Oh, yeah.
That's why she's not here today. So her kitty escaped the asylum and is out on the streets roaming around. So I hopefully by the time we record our next episode, she has an update for us that's positive.
That would be good.
Really. And everybody just have some empathy and listen. Just do a lot of listening and learning if you don't know what else to do, because you're not required to protest or whatever. But if you're feeling anything, have some empathy and really just listen. I think that's the number one thing for me is I just need to listen and educate myself some more, because although I think I know, I'll never know. But I know that now is a time for education and finding real ways to make it better. Right?
Yeah. Totally.
So that's it. All right, that's all I got.
All right, bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.